Hello, good evening. It's a late match prediction and also a, a late response to Oliver Glasner's pre-match interview. Good evening. Thank you very much for tuning in. This is Diego C. Palace, and I'm just going to do a late match predictions for tomorrow's Premier League fixtures. And of course, I'm going to start off with the match pre-match interview that was done. I suppose at Crystal Palace. It was most of the interviewers were of Palace TV, of course, of Crystal Palace, and Sky Sports News. I think there may be some other reporters, but I think it's mostly those two. And just going to respond to that. And please also, if you can, please hit like and subscribe as you enter the channel. To view it, if you're watching on playback, please hit a like and subscribe at Diego C. Palace. And also, if you can, share it, let people know that I'm doing this type of content. It would be great. But thank you very much for tuning in. Now, I'm just going to put in the chat here pre-match reaction, I suppose, to Oliver. Oops. Oliver Glasner pre-match interview and what is it? The other thing and predictions for and predictions for tomorrow's. Oh my days! It's been a long day. Tomorrow's for league weekend fixtures, I suppose. Fixtures. If you're new to the channel, please drop a like and fixture. Well, there we go. And good evening today 0000. I hope you are well. Thank you very much for dropping in. That's wonderful. I'm going to read out the I'm just going to put in here, please drop a like and comment and subscribe, I suppose. Subscribe as you enter live stream chat. Good evening. I hope you're well. Big day 0000. Thank you very much for tuning in. And let me just finish this one. So red and blue. Let's put red and blue in that one. There you go. For anyone in the chat. And let me just. I just got to check that you guys can hear me all okay. And I was going to say to you, let me just try and see that you guys can hear me and see me okay. Cause, it happened once. I did a stream and then went back to look at it and there was no sound, or the sound wasn't right. So just want to check that it can be heard okay. Let's have a look, see if that's going through okay. Oh, right, here we go. I've got I'm going to read out I'm not going to obviously show. I don't think I'm allowed, so I'm not going to. Anyway, I don't know how to do it, but I'm not going to show the the actual interview, but it happened roughly around 8 hours ago. Of course, Oliver Glasner having a pre-match interview to see his thoughts of how is his team, how's the team in response to injuries, how they're coping, how they're doing in training, and obviously how they're going to face West Ham United. Of course, we all know that West Ham United have a new manager in Graham Potter, very good manager, and he's coming to a West Ham United team that are not consistent in their home or away results, hence why they changed the manager. But from an outside looking into West Ham United, I think they've got a good acquisition there with West Ham, with Graham Potter and his coaching staff that he's brought in. So I expect Oliver Glasner will be very aware of that. Thank you very much, Dave. That means a lot, because I don't know how to check. I've checked in there, so I'm not too sure. Like, I was like 60% certain, so I thought, you know what, let's just get on with it. And but thank you very much, Day 000. That sounds okay. And of course, got Penny for the guy back there with a lucky hat, and lucky scarf there, and little stress Crystal Palace ball. I'm not sure what's happened to the duck. Not sure what's happened. The duck, the buff duck, is still in the buff. In the bathtub, so I'll have a look for it for the watch along tomorrow, hopefully afternoon. Right, first of all, I'm going to kick off with but thank you very much, Day 0000, for making me aware that the sound is okay. I'm going to just listen to it's not a very long interview, so it shouldn't take too long, but this is an interview that happened approximately 8 hours or 9 hours ago, and it's of course Oliver Glasner being interviewed. Not sure of the location. I think it's probably at the training ground, given by the background where you've got all the Crystal Palace sponsors there. So I think that's happening, and it looks like most of the questions are coming in towards Oliver Glasner there by Sky Sports reporters and by Palace TV, Crystal Palace's very own TV. Go and check them out, and well recommended. It's not very expensive, and I've got nothing to do with the football club. I'm just a football fan, but I recommend if you're intrigued to see what's going on with the Crystal Palace men, the unders, under 21s, under 18s, and all that, and there's also content there for the Crystal Palace women. Well recommended. Palace TV do an amazing job there of portraying how amazing they're doing. Not just expecting training, but on match days, and there's a lot of other stuff there involved as well. So well recommended. As I say, I've got nothing to do with the football club, just a football fan, but it's well worth it. Now, I'm going to start with it. It's only about 10 minutes long, so I'll kind of speed it up. So I'm going to try and I'm going to listen to the questions, and then I'll relay. I'm going to give this a go, see how this goes. Not sure how this is going to go, but I think I'm not allowed to show it, so that's all. I'm not going to show it to you lot. There might be some copyright there rules, so I don't know if you can or you can't, so I'm not going to. Right, here we go. The first question. Here we go. Sky Sports News. Sky Sports first. Right, the Sky Sports interview asks us how is the team, sort of towards the players, and Oliver Glasner says the following: Jeff Lerma is not available; he's sick, but all the others look quite good. That's Oliver Glasner speaking. They're asking again the sickness on Jefferson Lerma. They thought that Jefferson Lerma could have been back today in training, but he didn't feel well. This is Jefferson Lerma. So, oh, just a minute. Right, so the Sky Sports interviewer just asked Oliver Glasner on Jefferson Lerma what type of injury, is it the same injury? Of course, we all know that he came off early in the first half, and Oliver Glasner they're saying that it's oh, excuse me. Yeah, he's just confirming that Jefferson Lerma didn't feel well. He didn't train today, and was it the same sickness? And he says, yeah, it's the same sickness. Oh, he says he doesn't know. All right. Oh, so he Jefferson Lerma felt unwell while he was playing for Leicester, so they're just waiting to see what happens. Wow. The Sky Sports interview has just gone straight after asking about Jefferson Lerma, straight into Erling Haaland. I am sure we all know why he's asking. She's asking about that, and it's a brilliant question because where is football going now with Erling Haaland and the length of that contract that he's been offered at Manchester City, of course. So the Sky Sports supporters direct straight into it, asking about what is going on. Oh, 1 minute. Just lost the sound on that one. Let me go in there. Is that working? I don't know. Let's see what else is happening. So Oliver Glasner, let's have a look. On Erling Haaland, the question is this the future of football? And does he see a player signing a player for that duration of time? What a straight crack. Right, the Sky Sports it's given it 10 years. That's right, 10 years. Big up to day 000. Give 10 years. I mean, it's I think the one that sort of opened the can of worms on that with long length contracts. I think Manchester City have seen what Chelsea have done in the previous 3 transfer windows, I'd say, more extensively in the last 2. And so I think that Erling Haaland to be given a 10-year contract, I'm going to. This is what I'm saying, not what Oliver Glasner said. I think that football just to adjust to it is clearly Erling Haaland, as an assistant, is an asset of Manchester City, and they brought him in at a level of investment, and they want to have a considerable return should he get to the end of 10 years playing for Manchester City, or in the situation of where. Or in the situation where Manchester City actually may look to sell him, so they would want a return on their visible investment. And I mean, as a football fan, I'm like, what, 10 years? But it's clearly within the rules and stuff like that. So teams and players have to adapt to that. And it's what I would say to players is, without going in too far, because I'm sure they may ask later on in this interview to Oliver Glasner about Trevor Chabala of Chelsea. I expect that when a player signs to a contract for that length of duration, 10 years or 5-year plus, towards 10 years, of course there might be that financial security for them in that respect, but what the downside is that they then will be contractually obliged to honour that from what's written on the contract, so they're tied to it. So if something changes in 2 or 3 years, well, he signed the dotted line, and I think that's what the players need to look into consideration. Big up to Day. Is it Day 000 says give Hughesy 10 years. Yes, that's right. Well said, that man. Hughesy. Hughesy. That's what I say when I'm at Selhurst Pub. When Hughesy's going into a tackle, I'm going, God, Hughes. We all know what Casemiro did to Will Hughes. Absolute terrible a few seasons ago. And of course, you know what I mean? I mean, what have those Manchester United fans done to those football players? Before Casemiro landed at Manchester United, he never got a yellow card, let alone a red card. Plays against Palace, boosh, red card. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But there you go. So, yes, I agree with you. Give Will Hughes 10-year contract. It's going to be few. It was a couple of seasons ago. Casemiro thought that Will Hughes was a little bit naughty, so Casemiro just grabbed him by the cameras looked like actually holding him by the neck, but it wasn't. Casemiro was actually holding him by the shirt, but the hands were like around his neck. So the referee's like, "There's your red card." But I you know what? I don't blame Casemiro, and I don't blame the referee. I blame the Manchester United fans. I mean, what have they done to him? What did they do to him? Because back in Real Madrid, the man won trophies after trophies after trophies. He never got a yellow card. He was never injured. And look at him now, the poor lad. I'm just saying. Anyway, big up to... I don't know, this is going to be difficult to get through this interview with everyone in the chat, but big up to everyone in the chat. I didn't think anyone will be up. That's why I did it, because I thought that there'll be nobody up at this time. But anyway, big up. So I'm going to concentrate on the chat first because you guys are amazing. Alex SR, hello, I'm back. Big up to Alex SR7. I'm playing eFootball on my PS5. Don't drop that controller. It's very expensive. I am told. I haven't got one off myself, but apparently they are. What did he do to Hughesy? He kind of held him, I think, back in the day. It was absolute scenes. And Will Hughes is one of those. Will Hughes is one of those characters that in your circle of friendship, if you like, if you're out with them, if anyone comes across and starts to pick a fight with them, you're like, how could you have an argument with it? Because like Will Hughes is like a cuddly sort of person in your team. How could you get upset with your Hughes? He hasn't got a bad bone in his body, and yeah, he likes to get in a hard tackle here and there, but it's football. You know, it's not netball when the players go out there and play. Maybe that's what some don't understand. Real talk. But Will Hughes is as gentle as they come. He's loved by all. I'm sure that when he was at Old Trafford, even the mice at Old Trafford, they loved Will Hughes as he came as an away player going to play there against Manchester United. I mean, he's that likable. Even the mice at Old Trafford approached him with a little, twig of their whiskers. Nothing there. You don't have to go home. You got to get out. You don't have to go home, but you got to get out of my pub. Get out of my pub. Right, back onto the interview of Oliver Glasner. This is going to be an ask. I know this is going to be tough, but anyway, big up to Alex as I'll say, dang. Oh, okay. So Oliver Glasner is still talking about Erling Haaland. He says Erling Haaland is a bit younger than him, and he says. Oliver Glasner says that he thought the contract's length says it's roughly 5 years. He has to be careful here. I'm going to stop this because the Sky Sports reporters directly asked him about Oliver Glasner. Oliver, the Sky Sports support. Get my teeth out of my mouth. The Sky Sports supporter, the Sky Sports interviewer. Rightly questioned him about what his thoughts are Oliver Glasner, but that's just the second question after Jefferson Lerma. It's brilliant by Sky Sports, straight into the deep end. What do you think about Erling Haaland getting 10-year contract? And Oliver Glasner is now responding to it, but he has to be careful for two reasons. One, he's talking to the media. Two, he's talking on behalf of Crystal Palace. And thirdly, and the most importantly, he's talking about a player that belongs to a different club on a contract to somewhere else. So there are gentleman delicacies that you have to approach, especially when you're talking to the media about this. So although he may want to be open about what he thinks and feels about this, he technically has to pull it back in. And And the Sky Sports interviewer, brilliant questions, straight to the question, straight in there. What do you think about Erling Haaland and 10 years? But he's not a Crystal Palace player. He's a Manchester City player. And of course, everyone's entitled to an opinion. But there is like a gentleman's agreement, I think, between managers that whether it's a complimentary or not gesture towards somebody else's football player, that managers decline or deviate politely from answering about somebody else's player, or certainly about a player that's just been awarded a 10-year contract at Manchester City. And I guess it's not for a small bubble. But respect to the Sky Sports reporter for going in after the first question was about Jefferson Lerma. We're all waiting for him to recover well. We all know that he was pulled out of in about 20-25 minutes in the Leicester game. So I hope that Jefferson Lerma is getting better as he recovers, but apparently he did not turn up to training today because he's still not fully fit. He's not well. So hopefully he will recover. But apart from that, everybody is available and fit. Right. Still talking about big up to ST. He says, my inner Peggy Mitchell. She's my spirit animal. Get out of my pub. I can't do it how she did it. She was brilliant. Peggy Mitchell. She did. She also. I can't remember her name. Go Bennett. Right, now you've got me thinking about it. I've got to Google it because I can't move on now. But I'm not complaining, I have to say. What's her name? Barbara. What's her name in real life of the actress? Peggy Mitchell. Fictional character. Yes, I know that. Barbara Windsor. Of course, it's Barbara Windsor. I wanted to get it right. But Barbara Windsor is a brilliant actress. She was in Dad's Army, in one of the episodes, she played that role perfectly in EastEnders. Absolutely brilliant in EastEnders, and of course she was in the Carry On films. Who can remember? Who cannot? Who can forget the Carry On campaign? Carry On, all the Carry On films. She was absolutely brilliant in those. But while we're talking about Carry On Carry On campaign and Barbara Windsor. And EastEnders. Big up to UST. Oh my days. I honestly thought there'd be nobody up at this. Big up to all of you. But Oliver Glasner, the second question is about answering about now I'm deviating and back to the football. To my eye. About pre-match questions about facing West Ham United. Please help me get to 5 likes if you can in the chat. And I'm going to go back to it. Right, let's see what he says. There you go. So now and then, because he's carrying on talking about Erling Haaland, he then quickly thinks automatically as a manager from another football club, of course, our Crystal Palace, and he goes, honestly, I don't have an opinion on this. And he has to do that. I feel for Oliver Glasner, but brilliant question by the Sky Sports interviewer. I do apologize, but on the thing that I'm watching it, he has not got the lady's name. So if it was, I will put it on the comments and I would say so, but it's not on there. But brilliant. Putting him on the spot. Let me tell you something on golf. What's your handicap on golf? Crazy golf. I might give it to you, crazy golf. I'm not a bad golf potter. Real talk. All right, here we go. And it's Manchester City's decision. So he says he says he doesn't know which direction football is going, or which to develop. Next question. Transfer window is the next question from the Sky Sports reporter. Transfer window incomings. Any question? Trevor going back to Chelsea is mentioned. And then also any questions of forward players? Oliver Glasner responds to that question saying that he's looking for, he's hopeful that today or tomorrow, very early soon, we can make an announcement. Of course, he hasn't said the name of the player, but you and I know we're all talking about Roman Eze, so he couldn't mention it. I don't think he was going to mention it. Later today or tomorrow, he says. Yes, I mentioned. He says they're looking for a second one in a different position. And yes, Trevor was a little surprised that he was called back by Chelsea. But very good for us. And Chadid Riyad is back. Right, we're going to stop it there. Right, so the Sky Sports interviewer has mentioned that. What do you think about incoming possible incomings for Crystal Palace, ins and outs, whatever, whatnot? Not exactly those words by the Sky Sports interview, but you get the gist. And Oliver Glasner's response, and that's the third question up. He goes, "Well, what a surprise! We're in the transfer window. What do you think?" And yes, coming up to you, ST, definitely. And he's mentioned obviously. What it is, if people don't know in the chat, there is a player from Millwall at the moment that his name is Romain Eze. It's not spelt the same way as Eberechi Eze's surname is Eze. The player that I'm thinking and I'm talking about, but obviously Oliver Glasner can't mention him by name, and I'll explain why in a minute. Even though he's asked a direct question by the Sky Sports interview, which is perfectly correct and perfectly right, perfectly on point, because we all want to know what's going on. But there's a technicality of it. The player that I'm talking about is a Millwall player. He's a youngster by the name of Romain Eze, spelled Esse. And apparently he likes for his surname to be pronounced as if you're writing an essay for university and you're about to hand it into the lecture. So that's how you pronounce it. That's correct, essay. But he likes it to be pronounced as if you were, as if, for example, you're at university and your lecturer says, I need a 5,000 on-point essay on this subject. You need to deliver it tomorrow morning. So he says, okay, lecturer, I will deliver my essay tomorrow at 3 p.m. There you go. So that's how you pronounce it, apparently. Now, the technicality of it is that, and this goes to the previous post-match, I was like, don't answer it, is that when football clubs, I've never owned a football club, I've never bought a player, I've never sold a player, but I can imagine that when a football club is in the midst of making a deal, getting over the line, i.e. when the lawyers say, okay, this side is done and their side is done to get it over the line. When is that? My understanding is that Roman Eze had the medical at Crystal Palace earlier on today. I can't confirm it for definite because I wasn't there, so I didn't see it. But that's the way it is. And ST, what are you like? You must be on the unbelievable ST. Right. Anyway, so basically, Oliver Glasner is in a situation where the football club that he represents is on one side negotiating with another football club, which is Millwall, for an asset, which is Roman Eze. But until it is all concluded at each end and the end also of the football player, talking to the media can compromise it, not in an intentionally bad way, but it could compromise it. It could cost Crystal Palace more money. Talking about it, because I'll be very surprised if not that there'll be some aspects of the deal, if not all of it, that Oliver Glasner will be aware of it. And at the moment, it's not been announced official by the football club. And this is why I always do as a Crystal Palace fan. I just wait until the football club just announce it official, because that's what I do. If you do it in the past and you jump the gun before, you end up with a broken heart. Like literally, you do. And it's just like, so I just wait until it's officially announced. But at the moment, it's not fully finalized. It's not been announced officially by either Millwall, by the player, or by Crystal Palace. But we're hopeful. I'm hopeful that it will be done in the next few days, if not tomorrow, hopefully by Monday. I would have thought by the end of Monday. So it is what it is. He did not play for Millwall during their FA Cup tie last Monday of this week. So I think there was a gentleman's agreement between both clubs. But as I say, it's not finalised, so they've got to be careful. And I'm coming to UST on Trevor Chabala. I'm just going to mention what. Let me just. Is this a different position? Hold on. Oh. I was talking about Trevor now, and he's saying that Trevor was surprised that he was called back by Chelsea, and he says he was, and Shadid Riyad is back. That's correct. Right. Okay. So he's asked about the Sky Sports support. Keep saying that Sky Sports interview asked him the third question. So the first one was for Jefferson Lerma. The second one was on Erling Haaland. Crystal Palace match conference before they meet West Ham United. How has Erling Haaland got anything to do with it? But it's a direct question, and I like it when media reporters ask direct questions and completely throws it straight at the manager, because sometimes these pre-match interviews are a bit sort of it's like they know what the question is going to be, and I'm not saying that the interviewer should be to catch out the manager. No, it has to be done in a professional way. I expect the reporters representing a media outlet, and of course the managers representing the football club. But for the Sky Sports reporter to go, "What do you think about 10-year Erling Haaland?" in the second question, I'm thinking, whoa. But Oliver Glasner answered it perfectly. He started talking about it, and then he realised, oh, wait a minute, he's not my player. I've got to pull back here, because there is a gentleman, I think, arrangement between managers not to talk about each other's players, especially if they're under contractual obligations elsewhere. It's just something it's a line you don't want to go across. And so in the end, Oliver Glasner said, well, I don't know anything. I don't know. I don't have an opinion. Brilliant, Oliver Glasner. But he has to, because that's what you have to do, I suppose, in a point of responsibility as he is, as the manager for Crystal Palace senior squad. The question then goes on to ask about Trevor Chabala, and ST in the chat. Big up to you. You mentioned it. I'm sure you did. Sorry if I missed it. Trev is happier going back to Chelsea. Honest answer. Oh my god! Depends on what you had the cap. I don't know if it depends what sport you're talking about. Had the cap. Big up says, good evening, Steve. I hope you're well. I did good setting. I did good getting 4 scores. My favourite score, I got Burnley 0, Sunderland 0, and oh my days! Well, wait a minute. Well, we won't get sidetracked. But yeah, you went 0-0 Sunderland, and Sunderland missed 2 penalties. That's right. Who's your favourite boxer of all time? Big up to you, Steve. Well, I don't know, first of all, how that Burnley 0-0 ended, because how I think it's Wilson who took the penalties for Sunderland. How can you lose 2 penalties at the end? I'm getting sidetracked here, but it's basically Sunderland should have got the win there. They missed 2 penalties, one in about 88 minutes and one in the 90 minutes plus. And they let the same player. You had a player there with the surname of Bellingham on the bench for Sunderland, and not on the bench, on the pitch. Just let somebody else take the shot. They also brought on Eliezer, who's another forward player. Let him take the penalty for Sunderland, the second penalty, and they missed it. If Sunderland don't get into the automatic qualifications, or they drop out of the playoffs, they're going to be looking at tonight's fixture, Burnley versus Sunderland, where they missed 2 penalties at the end. And favorite boxer of all time? Oh, that's a heavy one. That's a difficult one. I've got to say, Barry McGuigan is up there. I grew up watching him, and but I think I've got to give it to David Hay. David Hay, because he came from a lower weight division, and he went into and got the heavyweight title. The only other boxer that ever did that, if I'm not mistaken, is Evander Holyfield, and it's also who he fought up against. But if you're talking about the reason why I'm saying that is because he politely stopped on the King's Road and I got a selfie with him. But I would say that's the favourite. But if you're talking about who, not the favourite, but who's the best ever boxer, I think that in my lifetime, 100% it'll have to be Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis is his stance of boxing, of both stances against different opponents, and he never ducked anyone. I'd have to give it to Lennox Lewis. But if you're talking about favoritism, I'd have to give it to David Haye because he was a gentleman. I was late to see a client. I walked past him on the King's Road and I thought, that's David Haye. Bro, I need to go back and see if that's right. So I doubled back, caught up with him on the King's Road, and he was on the phone actually and then he realised that I just doubled back to quickly run after him, and then I had to wait like 2 minutes, and then he politely finished his conversation on his phone, and then I said to him, I apologise for interrupting your phone call, but are you David Haye? Because if you're not, there's going to be a situation here, the scenes, you can't impress him, David. And he goes, yes. And then I asked him if he's all right for a selfie. And but because he saw me running, because I literally doubled back, I had tools with me. I was starting to I was sweating because it was a hot day as well. And then he goes, and then he just, and then I said to him as we were taking the selfie, I said to David, hey, I feel like I've just done a workout. And then he smiled as we both did the selfie. It was brilliant. Big up. And so in the chat, ST is going with Eze as the name. Yes, that's the name. Roman Eze is who I was speaking about earlier on. You're Mexican. We like ST. Unbelievable. ST says hello to Alex. What are you two like? And then Ganacho to Chelsea. Here we go. Yes, it's ST. I know you're bantering there, but at this rate, at the end of the transfer window, there's still Ruben Amorim. He's going to have more mice for selection in his changing room at Old Trafford than players. Like Rick too. Kobe's leaving. At one point, Ganacho's leaving. Casemiro, all these other players, they're all looking to be leaving. And I'm thinking, who's going to be left to play for them? Is it going to be the mice? Come on. Let's get back to the interview of Oliver Glasner. I thought there'd be nobody up at this time of night. Oh my days, I'm going to get in trouble. Right, and Ganacho, and then Prince Nassim. Yes, I did see Prince Nassim just off the Strand a few years ago. And he's put on a bit of weight. But and there were people asking him for selfies, but he looked busy when he got off the vehicle and he went into the building. So I kind of just pulled back. I thought, no, just a lie. But it was nice to see him. Yeah, he was a powerhouse when he went in there. Psychologically, mentally, I think he beat that opponent before he even got in the ring with them. Like literally, it was like that. I remember one time he went to watch Stephen Hendry play snooker at I think it was at the Crucible, or was the England or the English Open, not Open. Sort of competition, and one of the opponents of Stephen Hendry, because Prince Nassim was supporting Stephen Hendry at the time, and the opponent of Stephen Hendry complained that Prince Nassim was staring at him, psyching him out. You're going to miss. You're not going to beat my man, Stephen Hendry. And it was C's. It was like that. Absolute C's. But away from snooker, away from boxing, I'm just taking it back to the interview. But you're all legends in the chat. Oh my God, this is going to be difficult. Here's Oliver Glasner on the interview. Right, so he was talking about Trevor Chabela, of course, who's been recalled by Chelsea. And what he said was, first of all, that, quoting Oliver Glasner, that Trevor Chabela was surprised that they called him back. That's all he said. I'm not quoting him anymore. And obviously Palace has had to respond to that. But Oliver Glasner went on to say that, of course, we've got Chadid Riyad. I'm really happy that he's back, not just from his injury, but back in training on the grass. He played a few under-21 games and he's played 90 minutes for us in the last match. And I'm absolutely so happy for him. You can see that he's not at 110%. just before when he got injured, but he's getting there. Chadid Riyad, if those of you who don't support Crystal Palace, is a Moroccan international, and he's absolutely brilliant. I was so gutted for him when he got injured at the beginning of the season. He's a Moroccan international defender, and we've got him there, but he's getting back up to speed to where the levels that he wants to be. Of course, Chadid Riyad is a young defender. I'm not saying that they are at the same levels. Trevor Chabala, my understanding, this is won 2 Champions Leagues, one's with Chelsea, one with somebody else. So Trevor Chabala demonstrated to the squad in depth at Crystal Palace whilst he was loaned to us from Chelsea that he had to do a role. Do you have what he likes, St? Do you have a Crystal Palace pencil case? No, I've got a duck that goes in the bath, and I don't know what it's happened to. I think it's in the bath, and I've for answering the questions on the chat, I've got a stress ball. And as you can see, the beach towel is not fully out, so the holiday is not fully booked. When we finish above Brighton, when we're going to finish above Brighton in the Premier League. When we're looking to finish above those Manchester United fans and those Tottenham Hotspur fans, the beach towel will get fully extended. I'll be on the way on vacation. Real talk. So no, I've got the beach towel, I've got the stress ball, and the duck is somewhere. I don't know what's happened to the duck. Pencil case. Don't know. Do they do a pencil case? They might do. I don't know. No, not the pencil case. The pencil case is not. I don't have a pencil case from Crystal Palace, but the duck is in the bath somewhere. Or if it's not, it's probably just flown away. Right, back to Oliver Glasner in the interview. I honestly thought that you guys are absolutely amazing. Please help me get to 5 likes if you can. What are you lot like? I mean, we've spoken more of boxing, of Barbara Windsor. This is the thing with Chelsea fans. This is the jamminess of Chelsea fans. We've spoken about Erling Haaland as well. Oh my days! And the length of contrast that he was given. I mean, they're trying to copy STE and the jamminess of Chelsea fans out there in the way they have approached the transfer windows back in the day, awarding their players long year contracts, not 3 years, not 4 years, not 5 years, but up towards 10 years. And obviously, Manchester City are looking to secure their asset of Erling Haaland. But in this interview, the interview came from a Sky Sports interview, and Oliver Glasner realised, wait a minute, I'm talking about somebody else's player. I've got to be careful here. And he's doing the right thing. And he's absolutely brilliant to say, I don't know anything. I have no opinion. Next question. Here we go. Now on Graham Potter. Question on Graham Potter. And, I'm just getting into... hold on, I'm just getting... So, Oliver Glasner is getting a question on Graham Potter, and also because of the work that he'd done previously at Brighton. Okay, so the Sky Sports, I think it's the Sky Sports interviewer. He's asking, "What do you think about Graham Potter?" Of course, which is only mentioning Brighton, but his last job was at Chelsea. But Oliver Glasner says he doesn't know him personally, but he's heard of him. What he's heard of him is very good things. He says that he deserved a bit more time at Chelsea. So STE, listen to this. Oliver Glasner has just said that perhaps Graham Potter deserved a bit more time at your football club at Chelsea. I mean, it's Chelsea fans. I mean, you just can't make them up. You can't make them up. Real talk. Always in the transfer window, cracking the shell there, trying to poach a player there, trying to poach another one there. I mean, it's absolutely, I don't know. Anyway. But anyway, back to the interview. Oliver Glasner says, he says that he's a great young English manager. He says that he did a brilliant job, especially at Brighton. He says, Yeah, I was thinking that. So Oliver Glasner just said that he feels that Graham Potter has had a prompt impact on the squad that he has available at West Ham United, and yeah, I'll go along with that. What how long you deal? 100 and no way. Is that how much? No, it can't be. 515 million. No, that's 515,000 a week probably. Um, uh, I was happy with Lampard as manager. Um, I wish we gave him more time. Um, um, with Lamps, I think Lamps just overcomplicated it. I know Lamps has got a very high IQ for a footballer, or when he played as a footballer, and I suppose as a manager now. But I think that he just kind of overcomplicated his team selection, from what I assumed. But no. Hold on a minute, I can't log back on. There we go. He's talking about Graham Potter's first game at West Ham against Aston Villa. Oliver Glasner saying that. Right. Okay, that's a very good point. So Oliver Glasner is saying that Graham Potter had a good impact, as his estimations, on Graham Potter's start at West Ham United. As an example, he's just mentioned that the first match was in the League Cup, and he went to Villa Park. Of course, Graham Potter with West Ham United, and they restricted Aston Villa from having a shot on goal. And to go to Villa Park and in the first half restrict them to 0 shots on goal, and you just dropped in there as a manager. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think. Let's see if this mentions it. Yeah. Okay. So remember, Graham Potter was. I think he had like half a day and then a full day, and then the match kicked off when he had to go to Aston Villa as the West Ham manager and play them in the League Cup. And so minimal time with the squad there, and his new players restricted Villa from having a shot on goal in the first half. Oliver Glasner's just picked that up, and he's also giving credit to Graham Potter's ability to manage his side, I suppose. And I think the next match was against Fulham. Let's have a look. Yeah, he's just mentioned that. So to have limited time with his new squad, Graham Potter has gone to West Ham and had an impact with them. And he's obviously mentioning that he's aware of the League Cup game, the game, I suppose, in the Premier League against Fulham. I didn't realize it was Fulham, and also he's talking about how he's managed to get them to have opportunities on the opponent's goal, given the fact that they've incurred. There's an injury to one of their main strikers who had that car accident. I think his name was Antonio. So I hope he recovers well from that really horrific um, car crash. So what that's telling me as a Crystal Palace fan is because we're back to the Crystal Palace team. Before it was Erling Haaland and then Jamie Chelsea and their transfers. Really. Well, what Oliver Glasner is telling me there as a Crystal Palace fan is that he's already done his homework. I'm sure he has. He always does. But he's done his homework on Graham Potter. With his first two matches, first two matches at West Ham United. And you know what? Now, because I'm doubting myself, I'm actually going to check it. I'm not trying to prove wrong Oliver Glasner, but I do know that when was it? West Ham played. Yes, it was Fulham 3-2, and that was a win against Fulham 3-2. And this is what he's talking about. That's where they managed to get more opportunities on the Fulham, a very well organised Fulham side, if I may say so. In the first half, they made the damage count by scoring 2 goals, and in the second half, Fulham did peg back 2 goals by Iwobi, an ex-Arsenal player, and there, of course, Lucas Petacocca scoring there, I think, is the winner for West Ham. So what Oliver Glasner is saying, that he's aware that, first of all, Graham Potter had minimal time with his squad in the League Cup game against Aston Villa. He had literally probably half a day or less than a day and a half with his new players, went up to Villa Park, and in the first half, he restricted Aston Villa from creating any opportunities, shots on goal. And to go to Villa Park to do that is a challenge in itself for the first half. And to do that when you've only walked through the door literally for less than 48 hours, that's asking, and he managed to do that. Of course, that didn't work out to them well there, but against the West Ham match, West Ham United versus Fulham, West Ham United won 3-2, and this is what Oliver Glasner is talking about, how Graham Potter set up his side, and if I'm not mistaken, Alvarez and Rodriguez there for West Ham, completely in the first half, just literally bullying, in my opinion, Lukic and Andres Pereira, not into full submission, because in the second half Fulham did turn it around and got 2 goals back, but there was enough attacking play at the London Stadium for West Ham, and that is where, of course, they are going to play tomorrow at 3 p.m. So excellent question by the Sky Sports interview reporter, and Oliver Glasner responding to that. He's just talking about the injury to Antonio and Phil Cook as well. Paqueta played up front, that's correct, within a false 9 position. So, and Souček was so he's aware of their attacking threat of West Ham United, and he feels that Crystal Palace feel well, they feel ready for tomorrow, and he's saying that not himself, but also his coaching staff are analysing what occurred at Leicester City. And I like that. I like to hear that from my managers that represent my Crystal Palace, that first of all, they're aware of what the opponents, in this instance, the likes of Graham Potter is a great English manager, young English manager, great manager there. He's got his new squad of a new coaches there, and within minimal time and response, Oliver Glasner's confirmed that they've gone to Villa Park. They did a reasonable job there in the League Cup, and then at home against Fulham, a very good Fulham side. I mean, they recently, STE, you're a Chelsea fan, so Chelsea fans out there, they should know what the Fulham players can do, especially at the bridge on the Fulham road. The Fulham fans, the Fulham players, they did a number over the Chelsea. Real talk, STE. I'm going to get in trouble with that. But yeah, Oliver Glasner is aware of that. And now he's just finishing off that question there by the Sky Sports interviewer. That himself, Oliver Glasner, and his coaching staff are looking to analyse what happened, what didn't happen, all these kind of things, whatnot, against Leicester City. Although we won, of course, that match against Leicester City, but it is something, of course, Jean-Philippe Mateta scoring the first goal, and Mark Gahey scoring the second one following that set piece, that free kick from Ebery Eze. He's saying there, as my manager of Crystal Palace, he's saying we're still working on, even though we won, we're looking there. Take that back. Listen, I ain't taking the amount of times that you've caught me out. That's light. That's very light. Big up to ST. Oh my God. And he's talking about the Leicester game. Although they won, they're still critical of each other in training to make things improvement in training. I think somebody else is asking the next question, but I don't know who's asked it. It's another lady, so I can't tell you who's asked the question. The reason why I think is because the sound actually sounds different from the first lady, and secondly, he's moved his head over to a bit further away, so he's clearly looking at a different reporter. So I don't know from where she is. Let's have a look. It's been asked a question about Fulham. Right, let me just rewind that. So it's a different person asking a question now. On the topic of West Ham, he talked about how West Ham played away against Fulham. That's a brilliant question. Okay, that's a brilliant question. I don't know who this other interviewer is because they haven't said the name. But what she's saying on the question of West Ham, how they played successfully against Fulham at the London Stadium. How does he feel? The question is that they're going to now field against his Palace side. That's a brilliant question to see because I'm thinking as a Crystal Palace fan, his Crystal Palace players don't play with four at the back. Fulham play with Castagna, Anderson, Joachim Anderson used to play for us, Bassi and Robinson on the back four, with Luke and Andres Pereira with Smith Rowe, and Jimenez up top, and Wilson and Nwobi at either end. So either side, I should say. So Crystal Palace don't play like that. We play three at the back. So let's see what he answers to that question. That's quite interesting. Big up to you. You shouldn't mention their gender. I'm not. Big up to you, STE. I can hear the lady. It is a lady. I'm sure that's a lady. I mean, if it's not, I'll chew on this hat. But the two persons that are asked in the two questions, they're two ladies. I'm sure they are. If it's not, I'll eat this hat. I'll chew on this hat if I get it wrong on the next live stream. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I honestly thought when I started to do this match pre-match response, you're all absolutely amazing in the chat, and you've got me to 4 likes. That's amazing. If I get 1 or 2 likes, I'm buzzing. To get anything near 5 or anywhere towards 10, I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah. Anyway, right, back to the thing. Big up today, 000, covering my back. Big up to you saying, bad man, that's right. You tell him. You put him in this place, day 000. You put those jabby Chelsea fans back in their place. He's coming on here. Listen, we all know, as I said, what West Ham just did to Fulham and what Fulham did the week before on the Fulham Road. Knock on wood. At the bridge to those Chelsea fans. At the bridge. Unbelievable. I haven't even got into what happened at Ipswich at Portman Road. The tractor boys are still going, ole. Please look after our farmers. Right, here we go. Oliver Glasner. Right. What's wrong? Okay, the interviewer just asked Oliver Glasner, how do you feel West Ham are going to line up against his Crystal Palace side tomorrow? Now, there's one thing about answering the question. There's another thing, answering the question, and you're about to field of players 24 hours later. You don't want to put your cards out on the table just yet. If you know, you know. The game is the game. So I'm sure the Sky Sport or whoever asked the question there and I'm sure definitely Oliver Glasner understands that, you do not want to give the opposition any incline or any insight of what he's going to play tomorrow against West Ham. But it's a brilliant question by Sky Sports, because he could fall in the trap and say something that could line up. But the lady from the other person that's asked the question is asked to Oliver Glasner, how do you feel West Ham, Graham Potter's West Ham United are going to field against his Crystal Palace side tomorrow at the London Stadium? Is it going to be similar to Fulham? So Oliver Glasner responds in a neutral response, and he has to, because he can't be giving any clues to how Graham Potter and his coaching staff what he's thinking in the mind. It's not just about what the players are fielding on the match day, in my opinion, is where their mindset is. And the last thing you want to do is to give them any help. So he says he expects West Ham United to be fielded the same way as how they were fielded up against Aston Villa in the League Cup, and definitely over the win over Fulham, something that the Chelsea fans couldn't get over the line at the bridge on the Fulham Road. Real talk. Bad Man says day 000. Hello, mate. I'm actually joining this live stream from, and oh wow, Antananarivo, Madagascar. Wow, that's a long way away. That's on the southeast of Africa. So Madagascar is on the southeast of Africa, if I know right. It's a little island. So welcome to you, Samdo. I hope you are well. Hope you got good weather down there. You should be, because you're very close to the equator down there, I expect. ST just smile and wave, boys. Smile. Oh dear, ST. What absolute legend there. I leave the Emperor Penguins alone. Listen, there is no room in your changing room. You brought back Trevor Chabala back into your changing room. There is no room in your changing room at the bridge, Chelsea fans. The players go in as human beings, and when they come out walking like Emperor Penguins, because they've been squashed in that changing room at the bridge. You've got too many players on your squad sheet. Real talk. Trevor Chablet's going to go back there, and he goes, I'm going to go back there and come out walking like a Emperor Penguin. That's a famous line from the Madagascar movie, if you ever heard it. Oh my God. It's all kicking off in the chat. Right. I'm going back to Oliver Glasner. What are you guys like? Graham Potter says, yeah, so he's saying that Graham Potter's players have adjusted very quickly to how he wants them to play. They're missing offensive crucial players. Of course, Antonio had that car crash, and Michael Antonio, but they're playing differently with Lucas Patricueka up top. And he's saying that the West Ham players are very technical. Suchek, the second six, Alvarez or Rodriguez. So he's talking about Rodriguez. So what that's telling me as a Crystal Palace fan is that he's analysing how Graham Potter has fielded his players, not just in the previous match, but in his first match at Villa Park. And that's encouraging. He has to talk. It's better to talk about that than to talk about your own players, because you don't want to give the opposition any clues. And that's what he's doing. And Oliver Glasner is a professional. He knows exactly what he's doing in this interview. But also brilliant questioning, because he could make a mistake and he could tell us, oh, this is the team sheet. No, really, he would never do that, of course. Yes. Yeah, he's talking about what Awan Bissaka did for West Ham United against Fulham in that 3-2 win, and in a way, this is the only opportunity that really managers, I feel, have the opportunity to speak about other players of other football clubs, and it is what it is. Because I guarantee you. I mean, I've never been a professional football player. I don't know one. at a personal level. But I can tell you something. I expect that, for example, he's talking about what Owen Bissaka did with Mara Parvos there in that defence for West Ham, confronting the attacking play of Iwobi and Andres Pereira as an example. And the Crystal Palace players that are going to have to play in this position, Daniel Munoz, Ebrieze, and all those players, they're going to be thinking, he's talking about what we're going to be doing, probably. And also, he's kind of sending a message to the West Ham United players. I've done my homework on you, and we're ready for you. So that's good to hear from Oliver Glasner. Big up to STE and everyone in the chat. And thank you. Oh my God, you guys have got me to 5 likes. That's absolutely insane. That's madness. Thank you very much. I take my hat off to all of you. Thank you very much. Wow, I didn't expect that. I expect to get one person watching, let alone 5 likes. You're all absolutely amazing. Thank you very much. Right, Oliver Glasner, let's have a look. And right, so he's highlighting Soucek a lot. He's mentioned Soucek, who plays for West Ham United. I think now 3 times in this interview. And the reason why is because, I'll tell you why. Let's have a look. Just coming. Right, so he's aware of Soucek because his Frankfurt side that he used to manage played up against West Ham United, and Soucek was in that side. So again, he's talking direct to the players. Could be a mind thing there as well. So I like to see that. That's kind of spicing it up for tomorrow's fixture at 3 p.m. Yes, Sando. Yes, a lot of people actually don't like Madagascar here because his negative portrays the nation exotic, actually from a French colony. That's correct. That's what it is. I agree with you that point there, Sando. And I think it's all very well having films of countries that we have films here of the UK and stuff like that, but it doesn't sometimes portray the English side, the Northern Ireland side, the Scottish side, the Welsh side, and there is a lot of culture, as an example, in Great Britain. And when it comes to movies, they can project a different thing when it's actually from what the real thing is. And in your case, that film, it didn't do it because it's, I suppose, for a film to have traction out there, it needs to have a narrative, a talking point, and if unfortunately that was to have a negatively portrayal about of your country, it gets people to be looking at it, but people don't actually look at the question why it's been put like that, the film, and where is it coming from. So yeah, I get what you're saying, and yes, I knew that it was a French colony from back in the day. I don't know when you guys became independent. I don't know that, but I could find that out. It's Oliver Glasner. Oliver Glasner there overall saying that he feels that it's a good challenge for his Crystal Palace players. He feels quite well over it. His body language is telling me that it's like, all right, bring it on. We're ready for you lot. And so he's just spoken about all their players. Soucek, who he's faced before in Europe at his previous club. He's mentioned Arwan Bissaka. He's mentioned Sola. I think the player that he couldn't get his mind on was Rodriguez, who plays for West Ham United on the just behind Sola. So, but yeah, no, he's sending sort of messages out there, I think, to them. And now the question is, from your team's view, Okay, the interview from I don't know who source what media representative it is, but the lady's asking a brilliant question. The first half, how do you feel your players are going to start against West Ham United? Henson and Oliver Glasner response, yeah, he's not happy at how overall, and not his words, but how his players started not just against Leicester but previous games. And I expect that will be a focus for them in training to try and address and try to work on how they start the matches and not concede early goals. So let's see what else he says. He's saying that it's okay to have a slow start to the game, but then winning the game 2-0 like they did against Leicester City at the King Power Stadium. Um, it's good, he's saying, but and I like this because what he's saying there is looking to push levels for his players. Because I expect they'll be listening to him, but they already know the answer to what he's saying because they've been in training with him a week. So, in what not to do incorrectly to start the game slow, and because if they can finish strong, there's no reason why they can't start strong as well. So I guess that's something that they will look to improve on. It's nearly finishing now, by the way, guys, people. And oh, wait a minute, let me have a look. Trevor, right? The interviewer just asked him how much of an impact is it that um, Trevor Chabala leaving, being recalled back by Chelsea to the back line. And he's responded, well, in the last two games, we've had two clean sheets at Crystal Palace matches. And so that's like, um, and this is what I said about Chadid Riyad. He's not fully, this is not what Oliver Glasner says, but as a Crystal Palace fan, I've seen Chadid Riyad before his injury, and he was absolutely brilliant for us. So gutted for him to get injured. And as I say, what Oliver Glasner's just confirmed there, that whether he puts in Richards there or whether he puts in Chadid Riyad there at the back there in the back three of Mark Gahey and Maxime Lacroix, um, in the last two matches for Crystal Palace, is a clean sheet. And oh, 1 minute, I've just gone into adverts. The goalkeeper. Yeah, so basically, in response to that question, he's saying Trevor Chavilla didn't play in the last two Crystal Palace matches, and we're not considering any goals. And he's just mentioned Richards, which I just mentioned like 2 minutes ago, 1 minute ago. Chris Richards, he had injuries before, and he's recovered well, and he's getting himself back where he wants to be, and he's done absolutely brilliant for us. So with he's got options there to that. Make no mistake about it. I'm not trying to be too critical on our very own players, but they themselves are professionals, and they'll know that Trevor Chabla, in comparison at levels of experience in that position in the back three, for whether it's Crystal Palace or for Chelsea, well, Chelsea play forward at back, but what I'm trying to say is Trevor Chabela's experience as a very, very experienced Premier League, European Champions League winner, is at a certain level. And at the moment, Chadid Riyad and Chris Richards, um, they'll get there hopefully one day, but they're not up there yet. So it's but that's not to say. And the proof of the pudding is in the last two games at Crystal Palace, with with we haven't conceded any goals. So he's mentioning that any potential income is for Crystal Palace. He hasn't mentioned it, but this is now not talking about Roman Eze, who looks like might get announced officially by the club tomorrow or the day after. But he's mentioning that if the right player for the right position comes available, then let's have a look what it says. Then obviously the club will look to look into it. But if it doesn't happen, he's saying that he's still happy with what he's got. He has to say that because he has to encourage and push his players to the levels of where they are, I expect, to another level. And it's not just about the physicality of training, I expect, and what they do physically on match day. It's what's in the mind of the players. And the players need to know that their manager and their coaching staff are on their side. And the moment that goes out the window, that's it. You can't keep a clean sheet. And in the last two matches, Crystal Palace have kept a clean sheet. He's talking about the previous previous transfer window, where what we did to release players or bring in players was very late in the window, and big up to ST. Would you like to see Palace? Where are you talking about Palace drop? No, I don't see Palace dropping. I think I know you're making a point there. I think what you like. Oh dear. Oh my days. Listen, let's see. Listen, don't get me wrong. We're not mathematically secured. Um, uh, um, but I'll give you this sort of comparison. At my Crystal Palace, we've got a manager that has had more time to play or introduce a new style of play. Number one. Number two, he's got to know the players, and the players definitely know him and his coaching staff. Number three, we don't have a mice problem, and number four, we luckily, touch wood, if there's a wood there, Crystal Palace in this transfer window, we're not facing a situation where we're going to lose 1, 2, 3 of our key players in this window like that. And whilst in the previous transfer window, what Oliver Glasner's just said, we lost key players towards the end of the transfer window, and what we brought in, it was just late on. So it was just an adjustment time at the beginning. It was, I get it, but I don't think, don't get me wrong, I don't think Oliver Glasner is a type of manager or coach to look for excuses for a bad start of the season. I don't think he's that type of manager. He's as real as you can get, and he'll be saying, what we've got, we should be further up in the table. And yeah, recent results prove that. Let's see what else he says. He's saying that it's important for the team to stay together and getting into best into best shape to get each other to know each other. Yeah, he's making a comparison that basically in the last few matches, last 5 to 7 matches, there was something being said, and then people were then talking in comparison to that to how we finished last season. And let's see what else he says. It's coming to the end of the interview, so Right, and that's the end of the interview. That was some interviews there. The first question about Jefferson Lerma and just to confirm, and Erling Haaland. How he crept in was from the Sky Sports interviewer, and then the later questions, I have no idea who they were from, so um, they didn't announce it, so I can't feed that back. But big up to everyone in the chat. Now I'm going to do my predictions for tomorrow quickly because it is now tomorrow. It is now Saturday. Honestly, I thought I'd do like a quickly pre-match in respect to Oliver Glasner, and I thought that would take about 5-6 minutes, and then I thought there's no one will turn up, and you lot have turned up, and you're giving me 5 likes. Sometimes I've done a live stream, and I've sat there like a pudding, literally like a pudding, eating my grapes for over 2 or 3 hours, and I hardly get 2 or 3 likes. And you lot are absolutely amazing to have 5 people watching me at this time of night. You guys, I mean, as I say, make sure when you watch your football, make sure you eat and drink responsibly. And big up to ST. He says, "Would you like to see Palace drop?" I don't think we're going to drop him, but I think we've got a good team, good coaching staff, good manager who know each other, and they should be looking to get up to 10. I think as a comparison, if you look at Manchester United, you keep hearing all these rumours of players wanting to leave. There's, I think somebody mentioned it in the chat. Who is it? Is it Garnacho now? He's going to Chelsea or something? Let me just scroll back. Somebody in the chat said something. Or was it in the previous live watch along that I did? Garnacho to Chelsea. Yeah, big up to STE mentioned that. So there's players that going out. Are they going to get rid of other key players, veteran players of that club? So we're not in that situation. And they've just like won against Southampton as an example. And they're celebrating it. Like, you know, who knows what they want to celebrate as, but it was against Southampton. Okay? So at my Crystal Palace, I think that we've got more consistency in results. We haven't conceded any goals. We're defending set pieces a lot better. Like, for example, if you make an example of Manchester United, they have difficulties in set pieces, and other teams. Usually teams that start to go down the table or are plummeting is because they're finding difficulty in not keeping the goals out, literally. And no matter how many they score. Big up to you. It says into the Championship, but knowing you'd be in the Premier League the following season. Yeah, it happens. I mean, you get. I'd enjoy being a yo-yo club for a few seasons. Chelsea, listen, 2 seasons ago, my Crystal Palace finished above you lot, and then you decided to chuck Pochettino underneath the bus as well. Real talk. Right, Diego, my mistress has summoned me to be. Big up to ST. Thank you very much for staying up this late. Don't get in trouble. Don't end up sleeping on the on the settee. Thank you very much for tuning in, STE. Now I'm going to quickly, on that note, talking about your mistresses. Mistresses. Oh my days! What you like has summoned me to my. Oh, I'm going to leave that there. It's a different subject. I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to quickly do my predictions quickly for tomorrow, and keep the noise down so that'll wake up the neighbours. Where are we? Today is now the 18th. Oh my God, it's 45 minutes. This is mad, and I've still got 5 people watching. You lot are absolutely amazing. Sometimes, as I said, I do watch-alongs for over 2 hours, and I'll be lucky if I can get 2 views, 3 viewers. And I've got 6. You lot are amazing out there. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Just, I'll tell you what, I wish I could share this donut with every single one of you out there. But since I can't, I'm going to be really, really... I bet you some of you say, "Oh, I haven't got any donuts in that." Remember, watch your football, eat and drink responsibly. Real talk. I mean, it's right. Here's the predictions for. I'm going to take a bite. Of this. Okay. Is that in the bag now? I'm going to take a bite. I honestly don't know if content creators are supposed to or allowed to eat while they do this stuff. I have like no idea. But listen, it's late on. If I want a donut, I'll have a donut. Real talk. Big up to all of you in the chat. Let me just right. This is my predictions for tomorrow, January the 18th, or not tomorrow, today. Later on today, I should say, because it's now nearly 1 a.m. I mean, this is usually the time that you'd be watching UFC or MMA, but there's no boxing. Actually, there's a UFC card tomorrow night. I might cover that. Anyway, back to the football. My predictions for the 18th of January 2025 Premier League. First matchup, Newcastle United against Bournemouth. That is a 12:30 kickoff. Of course, at St James's Park. I can confirm that it's looking like Newcastle will be assessing their defender, Fabian Schär, who is now returned back into training after his illness. I'm not sure if he's going to be fully fit, but it looks like Eddie Howe, the coach, of course, Newcastle United will be looking to see if he can bring in back Fabian Schär for selection. Also, my understanding is that there's no further injuries, but however, the likes of Harvey Barnes, Callum Wilson, Jamal Lakachelis, and Nick Pope, goalkeeper, very good goalkeeper. Of course, they're still not available for Eddie Howe. So it is what it is. Basically, Newcastle are just absolutely, if I'm not mistaken, even with those injuries of Harvey Barnes, Callum Wilson, Jamal Lacazette, Nick Pope, they've won the last 6, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, we all know Newcastle have got Alexander Isak. And there was rumours that he might go to Arsenal. There's been many Arsenal content creators out there. I'm not going to mention names because apparently there's this golden rule. You're not allowed to mention anyone's other channels. I don't understand that. Well, I'm new to all this, so I don't know anyway. So I'm just following along with what the wind goes. But according to other good content creators, YouTube content creators out there, they were crying, Arsenal fans, for a striker. Not during this transfer window, not just during the last transfer window at the beginning of the season, but the transfer window of last January. And they were not heard or heeded to. And now, if you go and talk to an Arsenal fan, I think 98.9% will say, hello, why haven't we brought in a striker, Premier League right striker, like Alexander Isak? Why didn't they go for Alexander Isak? Not this transfer window, not at the beginning of the season, but through 3 transfer windows ago. So that's a point there. So Newcastle United with Alexander Isak they're absolutely unstoppable, unplayable at times. Now Bournemouth could be without the defender James Hill. I think he got a hamstring, so if he's got a hamstring, I can't see him coming back. Of course, following that 2-2 draw against Chelsea, where Reece James scored that equaliser free kick. What a wonderful, well-taken equaliser by Reece James, but literally at the bridge to be trying to claw back. Maresca's got problems at the back, and hence why they probably called back Trevor Chabala. But they ended 2-2. So Bournemouth also, the goalkeeper Kepa. I hate this surname of Kepa Arrizabalaga. Kepa Arrizabalaga. Probably mentioned. Yo sé que Kepa habla español. Perdón, señor. Perdón por dañarle tu nombre. Por favor. Kepa, the goalkeeper for Bournemouth, is now available. Of course, he couldn't play against Chelsea because of the jamminess of Chelsea having an agreement that if their loan plays out, they can't play against them. Boo-hoo. I don't know, there's Chelsea fans out there. Real talk. I could talk like that because I think ST is gone to bed. He'll get in trouble by his missus. Get in trouble. Anyway, so Kepa is available for Bournemouth there, and we'll have to wait and see. Now, with all that said, with players available, not available, and whatnot, I think there we go. Look at this stat. I just saw this. Alexandra Isak could become just the third player. Listen to this. Alexandra Isak could become just the third player to score in 9 consecutive Premier League appearances, emulating both Jamie Vardy and Ruud van Nistelrooy. That's an achievement. That's an achievement. And given that Newcastle United have had the injuries to the players that I mentioned earlier on, that's something to do. Alexander Isak there, when he played against my Crystal Palace in the first time, he kept falling down like he was injured. So if they can keep him injury free, Newcastle could be the dark horse to get definitely in the top 4, perhaps definitely in the 5th place. I expect that Newcastle United fans will be wanting a trophy in one of the cups, and also to get in top 4. I think that will be their target for real Newcastle United fans. Now, my prediction: Newcastle United 12:30 kickoff against Bournemouth is Newcastle United 2, Bournemouth 1. I think there'll be a goal that Bournemouth will score, but it's just Alexander Isak. How do you stop him? Real talk. Unbelievable scenes. Please hit a like if you can, if you're watching on playback or if you're live. Thank you for watching at this time of the morning, doing my predictions. So I'm going for Newcastle United 2, Bournemouth 1. And Alexander Isak is just absolutely unstoppable, and only because of that. Just have a quick look. If Newcastle win, they'll go up to 41. They can go into 3rd place if Nottingham Forest slip up. That's how good they are. Newcastle United have won the last 6 matches. There you go. Their form is just absolutely. Nottingham Forest, of course, drawing their last match. Now, next kickoff is a very interesting one. These are now 3 p.m. kickoffs. It's Brentford versus Liverpool, and Brentford. To my understanding, they don't have any further injury concerns at Brentford. Rico Henry and Ben Mee both had returned to the squad for that 2-2 with Manchester City. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday, and Henry, I think, came on as a substitute for Brentford. Now, Liverpool, as for Liverpool, it's different because Liverpool will be assessing the fitness to Diogo Jota, who he failed a niggle on while he scored that goal against Nottingham Forest midweek. So I think that will be a mess for Liverpool. I think that will change things. If Diogo Jota doesn't start, I expect that they'll play Núñez up top and Luis Diaz and Mo Salah. So basically, if Diogo Jota doesn't start, I expect Arnold Slot to start with Darwin Núñez. Oh no, but he might be suspended. I don't know. Anyway, right, yeah. Anyway, against Nottingham Forest in midweek, and then it says here, Luis Diaz missed training on Thursday because of illness, and is expected to be available for Brentford. So Luis Diaz looks like he might be there, available for Arnold Slot. And Darwin Núñez returns back from his suspension. I thought Darwin Núñez was still suspended, but no, he's not. So there you go. So if Diogo Jota doesn't start for Liverpool, I expect Arnold Slot to start Darwin Núñez up top. And he's got to take his chances. I mean, if who was it? Who was it that knocked Brentford out of the League Cup? It was who was it? Plymouth Argyle, I think it was. There's a side that Wayne Rooney used to manage. It was literally his players. So if Plymouth Argyle can score and win against Brentford at the community stadium, at the GTEC community stadium, and if Darwin Núñez doesn't, I tell you that shows the levels of Darwin Núñez. Right. Also, 1 minute. Let me just tune this one in. If you're new to the channel, please keep hitting the likes and subscribe at Diego C Palace. So no, I think Liverpool win this. It's not going to be easy. It's away at the G-Tech Community Stadium. I'm not sure what the if this fixture has already been played in the season earlier on in the season. Hold on, I just got to clean these glasses. I hate it when I've got smudge on it. No, I'm going Brentford 0, Liverpool 2. That's my prediction. Brentford 0 and Liverpool 2. I don't know. No, I'm going to go with that. Of course, this is we've all said. I've not seen the lineups, and right, I've got yeah. So I'm going Brentford 0, Liverpool 0. Better hurry up because it's coming up to 1 o'clock. I really didn't think it would take this long. I said quickly a 6-minute pre-match reaction to Oliver Glasner and quick run through of the predictions, and I thought I'd be done in 20 minutes. This is madness. Oh my days. And I've eaten half a donut as well and some grapes. Unbelievable. Shouldn't be eating at this time of the night. It's not good. It's not good. No one tells you. When you start content creating, no one tells you that you should not be eating one of these at 1 o'clock in the morning. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No one tells you. No one gives you a manual. No one tells you anything. No one actually contacts you. That's what it is. Anyway. Right. Next match, 3 p.m. kickoff. Leicester City versus Fulham. Now, Leicester City's new signing, I think it cost them in the region of 3 million. I could be wrong, but I think it cost them 3 million. So 3 million for Leicester City is a lot of money. It is for us at Crystal Palace, believe me. I'm counting the pennies. Hopefully we can bring some more players. But the new signing for Leicester City is a young man called Woyo Koulibaly. He was there at the previous match against my Crystal Palace, but he was sitting on the terraces on the stand at Leicester City, and I don't know what the main stand at the King Power Stadium is called. I don't know. I know stands of other grounds, but not this one. Sorry. Sorry, Leicester City fans. No, I'm not shouting. Sorry, I'm glad that we got 3 points there. But then you sign Woyo Koulibaly, could be in line to feature against Fulham, but have they done the paperwork? And he's needed there in the right back position, and has it been done? Have the paperwork done? Have they switched on the fax machine at Leicester City, and have they put the paper into the fax machine so the documents can come through the fax machine, and then you sign it, and then you rescan it, and you send it down the fax machine? Maybe that's what they're using at Leicester City. I don't know, but hopefully, I suppose for the Leicester City fans, they would want Woyo Koulibaly to be ready to be playing. Is he match fit? I have no idea. The Leicester City fans might know, done some background to see if he is match fit. That is not good. Eating donuts at 1 o'clock in the morning, it's not good. And I've got 5 likes. You guys are absolutely amazing at them. But if you haven't hit a like, please hit a like. Yeah, and don't recommend eating donuts at 1 o'clock in the morning. Right. New Leicester City signing, he's available. So who knows? We might find out. My understanding is that Ruud van Nistelrooy has no further injuries to his Leicester City, which is at 3 p.m. kickoff tomorrow. Leicester City versus Fulham. Now on the side of Fulham, their midfielder Sander Berge looks like he might be recovering from his ankle situation that I think he sustained that before the new year. So that could help Fulham. Michael Silva there having a Sander Berge available here. But Fulham, however, Reece Nelson, Kenny Tate, they both remain out, and yeah, that's why my understanding is it. So they might have an additional option there for Marco Silva there. They've just come away from that 3-2 loss to Graham Potter's West Ham United. So the King Power Stadium, Leicester City, Fulham, they might have their new player, the right back, a bit shore up. So I expect that the Leicester City players at the King Power Stadium and the Leicester City fans will be looking for just give us a clean sheet. Probably that's what they will be saying for. If you probably said to a Leicester City fan that they'll get 1 point, 1-1 or 0-0, they'll probably snap your hand. Against Fulham, the way they've been playing, okay. I mean, I'll tell you what, if Fulham turn up and they do a number at Leicester City like they did at the Bridge on the Fulham Road, Leicester City are losing by 3 or 4 goals. That's how good Fulham can be, and how bad Leicester City can be defensive-wise. The thing with Leicester City is, can they get Jamie Vardy scoring again? He missed a few opportunities against my Crystal Palace a few days ago, and I have to say, they should have started Jordan Ayew. Jordan Ayew signed from Crystal Palace to Leicester City, and Ruud van Nistelrooy, he should have started with Jamie Vardy and Jordan Ayew up top. Play one of them in the full time. That's what I would say. And the reason why I say that is because I know from experience that Jordan Ayew, the Guyanan international, he plays for Guyana as well, and for our Crystal Palace before. He brought that jollof rice of Guyana, that seasoning, to the food table at Crystal Palace, and he's done really well. He did really well for us at Crystal Palace, and if Leicester City fans out there, play him up, play him on the same team as Jamie Vardy, and I'm telling you, you might get something against Fulham. But if Fulham turn up the way they turned up at the Bridge against Chelsea, I mean, levels are levels. Leicester City are nowhere near the levels of Chelsea. And look what Fulham did at the Bridge. Fulham do like to travel, and travel well. And with that being said, against West Ham United, they fell short. But no, I can't see them. I can't even see Leicester City scoring. I'm going Leicester City 0. I'm going Fulham 3. If Fulham turn up at the King Power Stadium and they perform like they performed against Chelsea, they will get more than 3 goals away. I think so. I think so. Yeah, that's my prediction there. 3 p.m. kickoff. Leicester City 0, Fulham 3. Next match is West Ham United versus Crystal Palace. I've spoken about what Oliver Glasner said in the pre-match interview there. Big up to Sky Sports and to Palace TV for doing the questioning. I think that's who we're asking the questions. And going for West Ham United 0, Crystal Palace 1. I think 1 goal wins it. I just hope. No, I won't have to jinx it. I'm confident of our players. There's a good team spirit, and I'm hopeful that this time at the London. Last year when I went to the London Stadium, there was a delay in getting through the ticket halls. Nothing was being allowed to be scanning in, and I missed the first 7 to 12 minutes of the match getting into the London Stadium because the ticket machines would not accept nobody's ticket, and I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming because I did my uppermost to get there within. I always like to get to an away fixture at least half an hour, 40 minutes before kickoff, at least. And I was there half an hour before kickoff, and I thought I should be all right. I'm outside the stadium, I'm there, and we're all kennelled in like cattle. We're eagles, and none of us can fly into the stadium. It was absolutely ridiculous. We all had to wait until the machines were resetted on the turnstiles, and then they let us through. It was absolutely ridiculous, and there must have been a bug on the system or something. But it looks like Somerville might recover for West Ham United. I think he kind of tweaked his hamstring against Aston Villa, but of course they've had one game in between that. The win over Fulham, that's West Ham United, and as I mentioned earlier on, Jefferson Lerma, it looks like he didn't turn up for training this week, so I hope he recovers well. I hope he's doing okay. And also, Issa Mensah, he has tweaked his hamstrings a little bit, so I hope he'll also be available for Oliver Glasner. My prediction is West Ham 0, Crystal Palace 1. I think a goal does it at the London Stadium, and 3 more points. Clean sheet. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'd like that. But Graham Potter has turned them around. And the last prediction of all, big up to anyone in the chat if you're still there at over 1 o'clock in the morning. It is Arsenal versus Aston Villa. And this is the juicy one, I suppose. If you're a neutral like me, in respect to these two sides, of course, the result of this one ending is not really going to impact the Crystal Palace positioning at the moment. But I shouldn't be doing that. Eating donuts at 1 o'clock in the morning. It's just bad. It's not good. But Arsenal versus Aston Villa is a 5:30 kickoff tomorrow. And of course, it's at the Emirates. I'm going to pour a drink because I've eaten too many donuts. 1 o'clock in the morning. That's not good. I'm going to have bellyache in the morning, I expect. I'm just pouring myself a little drink here. Oh. Remember, like Cristiano Ronaldo said, drink water, agua. And right, it's Arsenal. Looks like with all the injuries that we got, I don't understand Arsenal, but my understanding is Ethan Nwaneri, he's not available. Bukayo Saka's not available. Gabriel Jesus, I think he's not available. Let's go into what else they've got of injuries. They've got an A&E department at Arsenal. It looks like Arsenal will make a late decision on availability of fullback Ricardo Cadafori, who's previously missed the last 2 fixtures for Arsenal. I'm unsure what kind of injury he's had, so Arsenal fans out there might know. Also, Mikel Arteta on the Friday, yesterday's match conferences, he's hopeful that hopefully he can return there because he's a long-standing player available for him. Whilst also Aston Villa, new signing Daniel Malen will be involved against the club where he spent his youth player. So Aston Villa, new signing, Daniel Malen used to be a youth player for Arsenal where he grew up, and they clearly deselected him and threw him underneath the bus. But now he's a new signing for Aston Villa. Do you know what they always say when a player returns back to their club? You know what I mean? What could happen? So wouldn't it be surprised that Daniel Malen scores tomorrow if he actually starts for Aston Villa? Diego Carlos for Aston Villa remains unavailable, and he's just fallen out, I think, with the club. As an outsider looking into that situation shouldn't be allowed to go to that way. Players should be made to play up to a certain point, and then once the deal is coming for someone that they want him, then they go to the other place. But they should play up to the end when they're available, because he's not injured, but because all the madness and the speculations of his future, he's not been picked. While John McGinn and Ross Barkley and Tel Porris, of course, are still out for Aston Villa. Aston Villa have also got a line of injured players, another A&E in the Premier League Football Club. So The thing I would say about this, without going into it too deeply, because it's very late, is I've got a feeling that Unai Emery has just got it psychologically won over Mikel Arteta. I think of experiences of trophies of what they've done as managers, there is no equal levels there. Unai Emery is levels above Arsenal. It's in the mindset, and everybody knows that the only thing that Mikel Arteta's ever won at Arsenal was with Unai Emery's players. But what did Mikel Arteta do after winning that FA Cup with Arsenal, with Unai Emery's players? He dismantled, like I said, Aubameyang, Pepe, Kieran Tierney, although he's still in the squad, has destroyed him, literally. Who else? Iwobi was also thrown underneath the bus. Who else did they throw underneath the bus? Just to name a few. And I'm an outsider looking into that situation. So Mikel Arteta has dismantled that winning trophy team, and he's done whatever the Arsenal fans called it, whatever he's doing process, I don't know. But basically, I think Unai Emery has it won over Mikel Arteta. And there you go. Look at this stat. Aston Villa have won the first two Premier League games of a calendar year for the first time since 2009, when they triumphed their opening three. So literally, every start of the year, Aston Villa always win the first two Premier League fixtures. That's the exception of 2009, when they actually won their first three. That's not helping Mikel Arteta. Thing is, Unai Emery's side, Aston Villa, they do concede goals. And Ollie Watkins is their only outlet, and John Terron, the Colombian international, I don't know how to call this one, and it's getting late and I need to go and rest. I'm going to go for I could stand on the fence and just say Arsenal 1, Aston Villa 1. I just think Arsenal have got too many injuries. And let me just have a look at the previous fixtures that they had. How do I do that? Hello there. Oh yeah, of course they won against Tottenham. But before that, Manchester United won on penalties. Oh, that amazing penalties done by Amad Diallo. What a remarkable football prospect that is, Amad Diallo from Manchester United. And the way Manchester United won those penalties. And before that, they lost against Newcastle United. And then they bottled it against Brighton Hove Albion, of course. The last time that they won was the 1st of January, Brentford. And they conceded, if I'm not mistaken, Mbamu, I can't remember the Brentford striker, Mbuemo. Basically, Arsenal conceded the very first Premier League goal of the season because they played on the 1st of January. They got added time to rest over the festive period, and Brentford. So literally, that's the last time they actually won a match. Oh no, sorry, they won the match against Tottenham Hotspur, but that's just not a normal match. The North London, it's just not a normal match. That's just a mad match. No, I'm gonna. I've got nothing really riding on this, but I'm gonna go for Arsenal. I think they're going to get found out too much. They've got too many injuries, offensive wise. I'm going to go Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 1. I just think Arsenal have got too many injuries, and I think the reason why I'm also saying it, I'm basing it on the managers facing each other. And I just know that Unai Emery is saying to his players, I know this man. He doesn't know how to manage or coach a team. He says he does. He acts like his pet. But I know how to beat this manager. I need you all to do this and that at the Emirates. And I think it's because Unai Emery has it in the mind, one over Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta knows that he's a beaten man. And if a man goes into battle thinking that he's going to lose, or a woman goes into battle and she thinks she's going to lose, most probably they'll lose. And make no mistake about it, Aston Villa defensively and building up a build of play and attacking is a lot better than Tottenham Hotspur. So I'm going because of the mind of Unai Emery, mind of a matter over Mikel Arteta. Mikel Arteta knows that he hasn't won nothing with his own players. Over 750 million net spent since he dismantled that side that Unai Emery put together and won him the FA Cup for Arsenal. He hasn't won anything. Nothing. So, yeah, he knocked us out of the League Cup with a second goal that should have been ruled offside. And in the Premier League fixture recently, we didn't have Daniel Munoz and Ebrieze available. But no, I'm not being salty about it. I think Arsenal just got too many injuries, and Unai Emery has mind over matter one when it comes to Mikel Arteta. I'm going Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 1. I hope Shay Arsenal's not listening to this. They're going to be furious now. What? But yeah, it's the amount of injuries, and I think Unai Emery will do a number over. Oh my God! If Unai Emery wins at the Emirates. Oh, well, I don't think Mikel Arteta will be able to blame the ball. The type of football being used. Oh, my days. Right, that's it. That's my predictions. Quickly, I'll run them through from memory. I think I said, well, I'll start with the easy one. Arsenal, 0. Aston Villa, 1. West Ham United, 0. Crystal Palace, 1. Leicester City, 0. Fulham, 3. Brentford, I think I said Brentford 1, Liverpool 2. I don't think that'll be easy for Liverpool, but they'll get the job done. The thing is, if Diogo Jota is not available for Liverpool, will Darwin Núñez be able to score against Brentford? I mean, Plymouth Argyle were able to score against Brentford. I mean, that's just telling you. That's what I'm just putting it out there. Newcastle United versus Bournemouth. I think I said Newcastle United 3, Bournemouth 1. I think that's what I said. So that's what I'm going with. There's also, I'm not going to go through all of them, Scottish Cup, 4th round. Today I did a little bit of Brechin City versus Hearts, and Hearts won, I think comfortably 4-1. Yeah, because Brechin City scored the first goal. Brechin City is in the Scottish National League. So one of the league bottom leagues, but they done well to score first against Hearts. But Hearts came back and won convincingly, squad in depth, and it showed. But in the Scottish Cup 4th round, I'm not going to go through all the fixtures, but the ones I am going to pick is Elgin City versus Aberdeen. I think that could be an upset. Aberdeen are dropping like a stone, and Elgin City is a small club. They're doing well, not just for the the first team for the men's. They're also starting a women's team as well. There, go and check out their YouTube channel. They're absolutely brilliant. Elgin City versus Aberdeen. I'm going to go Elgin City 2, Aberdeen 1. That will be the shocker, but the way Aberdeen are just dropping like a stone, it would have surprised many people at that. I'm not going to predict Hibs versus Clydebank because every time I predict Hibernian, they lose, but I'm going to anyway. Hibs 2, Clydebank 0. They'll bottle it and then they'll lose and they'll blame me. Every time I predict on Hibs matches, whether it's in the Scottish Premiership or in the domestic cups, they always lose. So I jinx them up. Another tasty one there, of course, Celtic versus Kilmarnock, a 5:30 kickoff. I expect Celtic to win there 3-0 against Kilmarnock. And lastly of all, in the Championship, it looks like, oh my days, it's a big one. Cardiff City, 12:30 versus Swansea City. Oh my days. I think condolences has to go out to the Cardiff City manager, who I think yesterday found out that his father had passed away or something like that has serious happened there. But he's still there looking after his team of players. So my condolences go out to the Cardiff City manager there. And against Swansea City, Swansea City have not been very consistent. Oh, this is a big match in South Wales. I'm going. I was going to go 1-1. I'm going Cardiff City 2, Swansea City 1. Yeah, that's a big one. There's a 12:30 kick. I'm actually going to keep an eye on that one. There's a lot of stuff going behind that. The reason I went into the Championship is because Hull City are away at Millwall. So any Hull City fans out there, please, with sugar on top, just beat Millwall. All right? That's all I ask. I don't ask for anything. Just please win against Millwall. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe at Diego C. Palace and please drop a like. And I think that's all I'm going to mention of fixtures. Oh, in the Women's Super League, in the WSL, Everton women are against Aston Villa women. I think Aston Villa women will win that away at Everton. The Everton women have just signed, I think, 3 or 4 players. So, yeah, it's too early for them. I'll put that on my Instagram. Right, League One. I'm not going to mention anymore because I'm tired and I need to just knock up. I just want to see. Oh, United States of America are playing a friendly tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Oh, I might do. No, but it's a friendly. It's not a competitive match. If it's on, if I'm still got the energy, I might cover that tomorrow night. And Spanish Liga. Atletico Madrid versus Leganes, Barcelona away to Getanes, Bayern Munich are home to Wolfsburg, and Bayer Leverkusen is at home to Borussia Mönchengladbach. There's some tasty matches tomorrow, and Juventus versus AC Milan. That's a tasty one, and the big one at night at the 7:45. Oh, I might cover this. Atalanta versus Napoli, and Napoli are top of the Serie A, whilst Atalanta are in third, and they have drawn the last 3 matches. So it's Atalanta's chance to get back up there and catch Inter Milan and Napoli, who are first and second. That will be a tasty affair. I can't deny. Actually, where's Roma now? Because they won recently. Today, actually. They're up to 9th. Claudio Ranieri is doing bits. It's doing absolute wonders there for Roma. And they've gone 27 points, haven't played 21. They might squeeze. You know what? Claudio Ranieri might actually squeeze Roma back into Europe. Now, that will be something. He should be given manager of the season. If Claudio Ranieri gets Roma into 5th, not just 6th, but into 5th place, 27. They've played 21. How many teams in that league? Oh, there's 20. plenty of matches to play. The way he's got them playing and in the January transfer window, who knows what he might be able to pull out the bag. If Claudio Ranieri gets Roma into 5th or into 4th place, he should be given the manager of Serie A for the season, regardless of who wins the Serie A. Real talk. Right, that's me done. I expect everybody has gone off to rest. Thank you very much for watching. That was the reaction to Oliver Glasner pre-match interview by both Palace TV and Sky Sports, and also covered my predictions for today's matches, because it is now 1:30 in the morning. That's mad. And you guys have got me to 5 likes. That's absolutely amazing. If you're new to the channel and you're watching on playback, please get me to 10 likes if you can. But to get 5 likes, I didn't think I'd get 1 like, let alone 5. You guys are amazing. Absolutely. I feel humbled by just seeing that. Real talk. A massive thank you to STE in the chat for dropping in. A big, massive thank you to Sam Doe, who I think is watching from Madagascar. Thank you very much for watching there. And also massive thank you to Day00000. A big thank you to, I think I saw, yes, definitely, Steve RFC, with your predictions there. Absolutely spot on, as always. And Alex SR7. How can I forget Alex SR7? Thank you very much to all of you for dropping in. Yeah, I can't thank you enough, you people. You're all absolutely amazing. And right, so tomorrow, Crystal Palace, come on. If I can, I will try and do the watch along for Newcastle versus Bournemouth and carry on to West Ham, Crystal Palace, Arsenal versus Aston Villa, definitely. And then when that match finishes, I will keep in mind what's going on with Cardiff City versus Rosa City, also Millwall away at Hull City, and also I'm keeping an eye on England City versus Aberdeen. I think that will be the shocker for tomorrow in the Scottish Cup 4th round. And if I can, I'll do some Italian football at the end as well. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay safe and have a good evening. And last of all, I have to finish off with respect to any Scottish, any Manchester City, any Manchester United fans out there. I think Hartlepool as well, football fans out there, but football fans in general. Yesterday, on the Friday, the 17th of January, we lost a legend of a football player, a Manchester United and Scotland legend. Dennis Law passed away at the age of 84. So my condolences to Dennis Law and his family, to his friends and football fans that clearly loved him and still do. My condolences there. This is Diego C. Palace. Thank you very much for watching. Stay safe and take care. Goodbye.